Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss a new lesson of Class 7. English. Lesson number 2. Animals, Birds, and Dr. Dolittle. But before we actually go into the lesson, let us discuss some questions. Do you like animals? Which animal do you like the most and why? Yes, we all like animals very much. We like dogs the most because they are loyal, friendly, and playful. Have you ever had a pet at home? What was its name? Yes, I had a pet dog named Bruno. It was very affectionate and obedient. How do animals communicate with each other? Animals communicate through sounds, body language, facial expressions, and scents. Do you understand animals' language? Is it possible to understand the feelings of animals? To some extent, some people can understand their pets' feelings. Do you understand the language or feelings of strange animals? It seems impossible. For all of us. But to Dr. Dolittle it's all possible. Have a look at this brief video clip and then we will proceed to the actual lesson.
Thanks, doctor. Thanks very much, doctor, for your help. Thanks, doctor. Thanks very much, doctor, for your help.
Don't forget to watch till the end, it's going to be great and exciting. Dr. Dolittle is an interesting and imaginative story written by Hugh John Lofting. The story is about Dr. John Dolittle, a kind and caring doctor who loves animals more than anything else. With the help of his parrot, Polynesia, he learns to understand and speak the language of animals. As a result, he gives up treating humans and becomes a famous animal doctor. The lesson highlights the importance of kindness, compassion, and respect for animals. It encourages us to understand the needs of animals and treat them with care. Through Dr. Dolittle's unique ability to communicate with animals, the story takes readers on an exciting journey filled with adventure, humor, and valuable life lessons. It also teaches us that every living creature deserves love and understanding. Here comes the actual lesson. The reading part of the lesson. At the beginning of the lesson, Dr. Dolittle was sitting in his kitchen. Dr. Dolittle was sitting in his kitchen talking to his patient, a man who sells cat food. He had come to see the doctor with a stomachache. "Why don't you give up being a people's doctor, and be an animal doctor?" asked the cat's food man. The parrot, Polynesia, was sitting in the window looking out at the rain and singing a sailor song to herself. She stopped singing and started to listen. "You see, doctor," the cat's food man went on, "you know all about animals. Much more than what these animal doctors here do. That book you wrote, about cats, why, it's wonderful. I can't read or write myself. My wife, Theodosia, is a scholar, and she read your book to me. You might have been a cat yourself. You know the way they think." When the cat's food man had gone, the parrot flew off the window onto the doctor's table and said, "That man's got sense. That's what you ought to do. Be an animal doctor. Give the silly people up. If they haven't brains enough to see you're the best doctor in the world. Take care of animals instead, they'll soon find it out. Be an animal doctor." "Oh, there are plenty of animal doctors," said John Dolittle, putting the flower pots outside on the windowsill to get the rain. "Yes, there are plenty," said Polynesia. "But none of them are any good at all. Now listen, doctor, and I'll tell you something. Did you know that animals can talk?" "I knew that parrots can talk," said the doctor. "Oh, we parrots can talk in 2 languages, people's language and bird language," said Polynesia proudly. "If I say, Polly wants a cracker, you understand me. But hear this, kaka-oi-ee, fi-fi?" "Good gracious," cried the doctor. "What does that mean?" "That means, is the porridge hot yet?" In bird language. "My. You don't say so," said the doctor. You never talked that way to me before. What would have been the good, said Polynesia, dusting some cracker crumbs off her left wing. You wouldn't have understood me if I had. Tell me some more, said the doctor.
All excited. And he rushed over to the drawer and came back with a book and a pencil. Now don't go too fast, and I'll write it down. This is interesting. Very interesting. Something quite new. Give me the bird's ABC first. Slowly now. So that was the way the doctor came to know that animals had a language of their own and could talk to one another. And all that afternoon, while it was raining, Polynesia sat on the kitchen table, giving him bird words to put down in the book. At tea time, when the dog Jip came in, the parrot said to the doctor, "See, he's talking to you." "Looks to me as though he were scratching his ear," said the doctor. "But animals don't always speak with their mouths," said the parrot, in a high voice, raising her eyebrows. "They talk with their ears, with their feet, with their tails, with everything. Sometimes they don't want to make a noise. Do you see now the way he's twitching up one side of his nose?" "What's that mean?" asked the doctor. "That means, can't you see that it has stopped raining?" Polynesia answered. "He is asking you a question. Dogs nearly always use their noses for asking questions." After a while, with the parrot's help, the doctor got to learn the language of the animals so well that he could talk to them himself and understand everything they said. Then he gave up being a people's doctor altogether. As soon as the cat's food man had told everyone that John Dolittle was going to become an animal doctor, old ladies began to bring him their pet pugs and poodles who had eaten too much cake. And farmers came many miles to show him sick cows and sheep. One day a plow horse was brought to him, and the poor thing was terribly glad to find a man who could talk in horse language. "You know, doctor," said the horse, "that vet over the hill knows nothing at all. He has been treating me 6 weeks now for something or the other. What I need is spectacles. I am going blind in one eye. There's no reason why horses shouldn't wear glasses, the same as people. But that stupid man over the hill never even looked at my eyes. He kept on giving me big pills. I tried to tell him, but he couldn't understand a word of horse language. What I need is spectacles." Of course, said the doctor. "I'll get you some at once." "I would like a pair like yours," said the horse, "only green. They'll keep the sun out of my eyes while I'm plowing the field." "Certainly," said the doctor. "Green ones you shall have." "You know, the trouble is, sir," said the plow horse, as the doctor opened the front door to let him out. "The trouble is that anybody thinks he can doctor animals, just because the animals don't complain. As a matter of fact, it takes a much cleverer man to be a really good animal doctor than it does to be a good people's doctor." Well, said the doctor. "When will my glasses be ready?" Then John Dolittle got a fine big pair of green spectacles, and the plow horse stopped going blind in one eye and could see as well as ever. And soon it became a common sight to see farm animals wearing glasses in the countryside, round Puddleby, and a blind horse was a thing unknown. And so it was with all the other animals that were brought to him. As soon as they found that he could talk their language, they told him where the pain was and how they felt, and of course it was easy for him to cure them. Now all these animals went back and told their brothers and friends that there was a doctor in the little house with the big garden who really was a doctor. And whenever any creatures got sick, not only horses and cows and dogs, but all the little things of the fields, like harvest mice, badgers, and bats, all came at once to his house on the edge of the town, so that his big garden was nearly always crowded with animals, trying to get in to see him. There were so many that came that he had to have special doors made for the different kinds. He wrote horses over the front door, cows over the side door, and sheep on the kitchen door. Each kind of animal had a separate door. Even the mice had a tiny tunnel made for them into the cellar, where they waited patiently in rows for the doctor to come round to them. And so, in a few years' time, every living thing for miles and miles got to know about John Dolittle, M.D. And the birds, who flew to other countries in the winter, told the animals in foreign lands about Dolittle, who could understand their talk and help them in their troubles. In this way he became famous among the animals, all over the world. He was happy and liked his life very much. About Hugh John Lofting. Hugh John Lofting, 14 January 1886, 26 September 1947, was an English-American author and a trained civil engineer, best known for creating Dr. Dolittle. His famous character, Dr. John Dolittle, learns to speak with animals and becomes an internationally known veterinarian. Lofting also wrote for younger readers, including The Story of Mrs. Tubbs, 1923, and Tommy, Tilly, and Mrs. Tubbs. His other works include Porridge Poetry, 1924, Noisy Nora, 1929, and The Twilight of Magic, 1930.